Thank you, Tim. That was very enlightening and very moving as well. Our next guest, I think, needs no introduction. A lifelong anti-Israeli apartheid campaigner and on the front lines of our protest movement in the UK in the last 15 plus months. Yael is an inspiration to many of us with her unwavering commitment to speaking truth to power and in refusing to back down or to be intimidated despite the authorities' best efforts to silence her. So, over to you, Yael. Thank you.
I know people think that some people are made of a better material. So I want to share with you how pathetic I was. It was in the first Intifada. I was traveling with Palestinian from the village Al Khadr, which is just south of Bethlehem, and we were on our way to Jerusalem. These both were the days where Palestinians still could travel to Jerusalem. That is just not possible now, thanks to the horrendous, absolutely betrayal of the Oslo. It was a disaster. And we got to Bethlehem in order to change for a taxi from Bethlehem to Jerusalem. And I saw what I thought was a demonstration. So we joined, and I was like, I asked the people I was with, the two women, why everybody is running? I mean, they said, because the army is trying to snatch the martyr body, the body of the martyrs, and it actually was a funeral. And sure enough, minutes later, the Israeli army snatched the body, the dead body of a Palestinian martyr. So immediately there started a fight between the Palestinian who participated in this funeral, where they lost their friend, and the Israeli army. And me not having any experience in being in that position, I stupidly was standing, thinking I can just shout at the soldiers, not realizing that I was actually preventing the Palestinians from targeting the soldiers with the stones while they've been shot live, because they didn't want to hurt me. Eventually I did get the message. But you can see that when you're not familiar with the situation, and when you are in a privileged position relative to other people, for them they know that's what this terrorist army was. For me it was a big lesson. And so we all have to learn. And it's not something that it's very difficult to imagine when we all the time been taught there is a rule of law, there is international law, there is a British law. There isn't. It's only just like Nazi Germany. How do you think they did the Holocaust? Through the law. Everything was legal. They just passed the right laws. And so that's what we see they're doing to us. If you go to a Palestine Action trial, you learn there is no legal right to do any sort of protest. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even planning, not even intending. Nothing is legal. So you actually learn that, the law is there to protect those in power. It's not to protect us. And as Tim said, the state is desperate to smash us. They can't believe that 15 months on, and we never given up. We carry on no matter what they throw at us, what oppression, and we all have our learning curve. We're all learning, because the tactic they use, that's what I just learned from Tim. A about the Palestine action prisoners, where the way I see that they limit the number of visitors. So if your comrade had visit, you won't get it. This is to cause friction and conflict of interest among the prisoners. That is such a tactic of oppression. So the level of oppression is so deep. It's at every level. And so our strength is really the unity. I'm not against people disagreeing. I think it's important actually to disagree. Because otherwise, if we don't express our political disagreement, then those for whatever reason gain power, they impose their agenda. And I don't think that is correct. It's fine, but while we disagree, while we might disagree about one point or another, we are there to support each other. And each one of us is not only the famous people. We really need it. It's so essential that each one of us know that if they are arrested, they have all the movement supporting them. When they have tried, we're all supporting them. And not just the famous. And it's very, very important. And especially we need to, because the state is now sending us lots of oppressive signals, like what they did to Yusuf Hussain, that he immediately, as Starmer was elected, and I blame Starmer, I'm sure he gave order to the police to escalate the oppression. And the police understood that they are free to use violence. And people, many of you would have seen it and might not know that the victim was Yusuf Hussain. And recently, the police, after 6 months of doing nothing, they informed Yusuf that they decided that the attack on him was proportionate. That was extreme violence. They came from behind him. They knocked him down. He suffered a very serious injuries. They knocked him down to the ground and they keep kicking him there. And so, the last minute, they informed him of that decision. And then they said, you have 24 hours to appeal, after they wasted 6 months doing nothing. And then they informed him that he's been charged now for attacking his attacker. He did nothing. I mean, it's very difficult to be as passive as he was, because our instinct is human. If somebody coming to attack us, is to defend ourselves. And if you film just raising your hand, they can say, hey, that's evident you are attacking. Even though maybe you just raise it to protect your eyes. And so the state is really escalating. And it was quite refreshing. I was yesterday in Birmingham, and it was like a day goes by. There was quite a few miles demonstration. There was no police in sight. Absolutely not. They just let us march, and it was beautiful. We marched through streets full of very residential and commercial as well, local shops, and lots of support from everybody on the street. Yeah, clapping hands and shouting with us, and few joining us as we walk. It was unbelievable. It was like being in a different country, different era. So it's just a reminder what it can still be. And this is the UK. Birmingham is still UK. They're even building the so-called H2S or HS2 train, allegedly where they just land grab, and so that Birmingham will be closer to London by a few minutes. And here in London, to a great degree, we are living under Zionist occupation, where Zionists can tell the police they are standing there, and by the way, I even saying this, I can be arrested for. the police can pervert my bail condition. I have bail condition for talking about the Zionists. So they can arrest me just for saying that. And this is what they do. Zionists come and just point out. It's the most oppressive that people that you're not even allowed to talk about can just say, arrest this one, and they immediately arrest. On the other hand, the police, in front of the police, they are witnessing, hearing Zionists calling, I can't even say those words. This is words that always the Nazi Zionists were saying in Israel. We're saying, there's two, and you know what's the last word. I just can't say it. It's just so, it's so disgusting. And the police heard the people saying that and refused to even ask them, please, your name, let alone arrest them. Nothing, nothing. And the police heard Zionists saying here in London to people about, oh, what you need is a pager. And in a lot of different variation. Yeah? Many times. And the police hear that. And they refuse to do anything. And that is terrorism. Instead, they arrest us and the so-called terrorism because we say Palestinians have the right to resist. I've been saying that for 72 years. Sorry, 52 years.
Born saying it.
If I'm still alive, you probably missed it. Yeah? For 52 years. Yeah, Palestinians have the right to resist, especially as an Israeli. We have no right. No Israeli has a right to dictate to the Palestinian what they need or could do in order to protect themselves from Zionist terrorism, Zionist genocide, Zionist extermination, Zionist ethnic cleansing. But we are in a situation that we have to self-censor what we think, let alone what we say. And that is, we need to push back a little bit. I started I'm going to do a series of tweets where I'm challenging the Met. And because it's so outrageous how oppressive they are, how they, and so our power is not to accept the limits on our life, not to accept the oppression. And I'm really, really sorry what Tim gone through. It's horrendous. You know, I mean, nobody like to have a gang thieves going to the house and stealing all the things which help them to communicate with the world, taking every electronic. But that's exactly what the police did to Tim. And they did it to Sarah Wilkerson. And so what we need to do is always make sure everyone is supported. Nobody is left alone. Just like I'll go back to that incident in Bethlehem. So eventually I realized I should be moving. I think somebody really had to explicitly tell me that. And the Israeli army did injure one of the Palestinian protesters. And then was the struggle how to smuggle the injured Palestinian so that the Israeli army will not capture them, because if they capture them, they will never see a doctor, they will never see a treatment. And we don't know how far the oppression in the UK is going to deteriorate, but they are clearly so deeply allowing the Zionists to occupy London and dictate at every level what we're allowed to do, what we're allowed to say. And you could see the Zionists smirking and so pleased with themselves after they got us arrested. And it's like, and as the police come to them, here it is, this is the sacrifice that you asked us to do, and we oblige, we've done as you ordered us. And they want us obviously to to react, they want us to be angry, but we need to think what we want to do. We need to think back, and most important at every level, so I can't repeat that and stress that enough. It's so important that everyone, no matter how infamous can mean something else, how very few people know of that person. If that person is a victim of the police oppression, we are there for them, and we are for you, team. And I'm really sorry what you've been through, and we'll show the police that we are united, and we will fight together, and they will not break us, because every one of us is precious. We can't take for granted any of us, because any of us can get to a situation where we feel really so weak and so tired and so losing the strength to stand up to the oppression. So we really, really need to help each one of us. We need to protect each one of us. So thank you so much.
100%.